Okay, are we ready to bring the jury back in? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's bring them in.
Jurors are present.
Please be seated. Settled in? Okay. Mr. West, you may continue.
Thank you. Now, if I might approach the witness.
Yes, you may.
Ms. Gentile, I'd like to direct your attention to page 209 of the deposition. I'm going to give it to you to read and take as much time as you would like. This is the question about what 209 of the deposition. I'm going to give it to you to read and
At the
take as
telephone
much time as you
interview.
would like. This is the question about what you told Mr. Crump at the telephone interview that the man, or George Zimmerman, said when Trayvon Martin said, "Why you following me?" Are you oriented a bit? Okay. So, as you can see here,
You need to read that to yourself. And let Mr. West know when you're finished.
you can start with line 14 or 15. And you see that's when the tape itself was played. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Remember, in the deposition, we asked
Yes,
about this,
yes,
and we actually played the
yes.
recording for you?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so just take your time to read it, and I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about that.
You don't
That's
say-
it? Yes, that's it. Just this, no? Just from line 15 until the line 23.
Okay.
All right? May I go ahead and ask you a couple of questions about it then?
Got a lot of executive objection regarding, it should be from page 209 to, I believe it's page 212 to have a complete answer.
You can do that on your
Yes.
redirect?
So do you remember being in the deposition?
Yes.
And we were asking, should I return to the podium? I think so too. Ms. Gentile, do you remember being in deposition in Miami on Wednesday, March 13th, and we were talking about this same subject?
Yes.
And I asked you what George Zimmerman said in response to Trayvon Martin saying, "Why are you following me?" And we actually played the recording of that section. Remember that?
Yes.
And
I had told you, and it said on the depot paper that you have right now, that I had rushed on the interview between me and Crump.
No. And I had told you that in that depot paper that you have there, that I have,
Rush on the interview between me and Crump.
right, so I got you what your explanation is
Yes.
as to why you may have said something or not. But specifically, when you were in the deposition under oath,
Yes.
having heard the recording, I asked you, on the recording, did you say the man is like, "What you talking about?" And your answer was, yes, I did say that.
What? Can I see it? Can I see it?
Sure. I'm referring to, again, to line 15 that says, "Play it again," and we played a portion of the audio. And I said to you, "Is that what you said?" And your answer was yes. If I said in the recording, that's what I said. And I said, on the recording, did you say the man is like, "What you talking about?" And your answer was yes, I did say that. You remember that?
It was in.
Do you acknowledge that those were your answers that day to the questions that we've just read?
Might have been. Might have been. Because we're having the same issue with my voice. So.
might have been, I couldn't hear what you said.
Might have been because if I said yes,
You have to
but
speak into the microphone, please. Speak into the microphone.
might have been.
So is that your answer or not?
Yes.
So what you are saying is that indeed what you told Mr. Crump in this recorded interview, that what George Zimmerman said in response to him saying, "What you following me?" or "Why you following me?" George Zimmerman said, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, that's what you're talking about? No.
And I think we'll have to address the recording itself. Should
I had told you. You listening?
Yes, ma'am.
I had told you what happened to me in Crump interview. I had Rush on it. Are you listening?
One more time, I'm sorry, I was distracted. You told me what?
I had told you during the interview between me and Crump, I had Rush on it. And before that interview, I had told the mom if the officer want to talk to me, they could talk to me to know exactly what happened. And I had told you that on the depot. And I had told you, and it said it right there, I rushed on it. I had told you I rushed on it.
When you say you rushed on it, mean you hadn't thought it through carefully to be sure that you spoke?
I just told it,
That you told
Trayvon
the
Park. Literally told Trayvon
truth?
Park.
Are you saying that you rushed through it and you didn't think about it carefully enough to be sure that you told it accurately?
Yes.
I'd like to move on to something else because we don't have time today to deal with the recording or the video of the deposition.
Go ahead and ask the questions as you see fit.
Thank you.
No, coming back.
Ms. Gentile, I'd like to also talk with you briefly at this time about the 911 call with the screams for help. Do you remember that call?
Yes. Yes.
That was the recording that was made by one of the people, I'm sorry, that was the recording that was made by emergency services on a 911 call that was placed by one of the people that lived in the community where this happened.
Yes.
And you've said, I think, on direct examination, that you have listened to that recording, correct?
Yes.
And you've listened to it on television?
Yes.
Have you listened to it anywhere else?
On that depot, yes.
So you heard it at the deposition as well?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but you had talked about it, I think. And I had told you it was Trayvon. It sounded like Trayvon. It had sound like Trayvon.
I'm sorry, what?
It had sound like Trayvon.
Well, today you told Mr. De La Rionda that it was Trayvon Martin's voice.
I had told you on the depot it was Trayvon's voice.
Let me show you this. Council's reference, page 191, 18. If I'd have you take a look here, beginning with line 18 through line 23.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to read there, line 18 through line 23?
I object as to line 23, improper, doesn't repeat the whole answer that she gave. The answer actually goes through.
Take as
page.
much time as you want. Read the whole thing if you want. Or maybe we could break until the morning if that would be
No. I'm leaving down today.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I'm leaving today. Nope.
Are you refusing to come back tomorrow?
To you?
Are you refusing
Okay,
to come?
we need to keep this a question and answer about her testimony. Any other matters dealing with scheduling, I will make that decision. So if you'll continue to keep reading, please.
Have you read it now? Are you finished?
Take a minute.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, do you admit then that you were asked who was screaming for help, and your answer was, it could be Trayvon?
It's
Yes.
actually improper impeachment, Your Honor. That doesn't complete her whole answer.
Okay,
I'll be glad to finish it.
you
Of
need
course.
to, please.
Thank you, Judge.
And you had told me it sound like, I told you it sound like Trayvon, because Trayvon have a kind of baby voice. You bring me? Go ahead.
So the question is, well, who is screaming for help? It's not Trayvon, is it? And your answer, it could be Trayvon. And the question, you know his voice so well. Was that Trayvon screaming for help, or wasn't it? Your answer, it could be. Like I said, I don't know, but it could be. The dudes sound kind of like Trayvon. Trayvon do got that soft voice and that baby voice sometimes. So it could be, I don't know, you know it's not. And that's the end of the quote. Do you acknowledge that you made those statements, those answers to those questions under oath and deposition?
Yeah.
May we break for the day, Judge?
Any objections?
I'd like to continue, but I defer to the court, but.
How much more time do you think that you need to finish your cross?
Well, I certainly wouldn't. I don't know for sure. I would think we should plan on at least a couple of hours.
What?
Excuse me, please be quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for the evening. Everybody still remain seated, including you, Ms. Gentile, please remain seated. During the overnight recess, I'm instructing you not to discuss the case amongst yourselves nor with anybody else. Do not read or listen to any radio, television, or newspaper reports about the case. Do not use any type of an electronic device to get on the internet to do independent research about the case, people, places, things, and terminology. Do not read or create any emails, text messages, Twitters, tweets, blogs, or social networking pages about the case. Do I have your assurances that you will abide by these instructions? Okay, please leave your notepads face down on the chair, and we'll see you at 9 a.m. Please be seated. Ms. Gentile, we're going to continue with your testimony tomorrow at 9 a.m. During the overnight, you're not to discuss your testimony with anybody, and that includes the lawyers, because you're considered to still be on the witness stand, okay? So it's not proper to talk about what you have testified or what you're going to testify. So we will see you at 9 a.m. Corporal Dempsey will escort you out of the courtroom. Is there anything else that we need to take up before we recess for the day? And before we do, I have something to give counsel. Mr. Guy, you want to come up and get that? Thank you. Court will be in recess until 9 a.m.